now return to the Peter Schiff Show.
Call in now, 855-4-SCHIFF.
That's 855-472-4433.
Rebel Radio, the Peter Schiff Show.
Joining our program now, it's Pejman Ghadimi. He is the author of The Third Cycle Theory. He is also a founder of Secret Entourage, a unique organization which focuses on helping motivate and improve the lives of young entrepreneurs worldwide. He is the founder of VIP Monitoring. Pejman, welcome to the Peter Schiff Show.
Hey, how are you, Peter?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
All right, so your organization is the purpose of it to encourage young people not to go on to college, not to seek a degree, but instead to take an alternate track and look into entrepreneurship or just going out on their own and starting a business rather than furthering their their institutional educational program.
Not at all, actually. Secret Entourage it kind of has some truth to what you said, but it's not really what we go for. If I said that we were all about not allowing people to go to school or telling them that it's not the right track, then it would be no different than Obama telling everybody they should be going to college to being successful, right? So we're not that extreme. We're not coming to one side or the other. We're rather saying that if younger individuals are going to go to college, it's time for them to understand why they're going to college, and it's time for them to understand the investment they're making in college and understand what they're going to get out of it. So ultimately, if they don't need to go to college, they're simply going to have alternate ways to think about business, life, entrepreneurship, and to be able to look at those alternatives as well, rather than just thinking that college is the only way to be successful.
Right. And also, I wouldn't necessarily focus on entrepreneurship because let's say you're 17 or 18 years old and, most of us are not, like the kid that started Tumblr. We're not geniuses at programming. I don't think most people at 17 or 18 are ready to be an entrepreneur. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they should go to college. I think most people who go to college would be better off getting a job instead, developing some work skills, get some on-the-job training that might prepare them to launch their own business at 25 or 30 when they have a lot of real-world experience and have learned a business from the bottom up. I think that a lot of successful entrepreneurs will emerge from people who skipped college and started working at an earlier age, especially if they're unencumbered by debt, because you take a lot of young kids and they spend 5 or 6 years in college. By the time they graduate, they have so much debt. Entrepreneurship isn't even an option for these people. They have to get a job just to pay the interest on the money they borrowed.
Right, and so I agree with you. I agree with you because that's actually the road I took myself. I didn't go to school. I ended up working. I made it very high up the ranks in a bank, and then ended up from there, kind of looking at my entrepreneurial journey. However, there is no harm to making sure that people from a younger age are exposed to entrepreneurship. That doesn't mean they have to go and become entrepreneurs right from the bat, but having an entrepreneurial spirit and understanding the core foundation of how entrepreneurship can interwork with society and can interwork with these systems we have in place certainly can help people kind of prepare and look at that as an alternative as well at some point. Now, there's a lot of value, like you said, in working for other people. There's a lot of value in, from a young age, gaining that experience. And that's what we try to teach at Secret Entourage. We're not telling people just to go become entrepreneurs, which, to clarify, entrepreneurship to us is not defined through just IT, software, or tech creation, but rather someone's ability to look at something that others see and instead see something else and innovate that industry as a result.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of potential entrepreneurs end up wasting their time and their talents studying meaningless subjects. I mean, subjects that are interesting, for dinner conversation maybe, but have no real bearing in the real world. A lot of people, if instead of going to college, they simply got a job, I mean, you can have have a kid that maybe doesn't have an aptitude to study, he's not going to benefit studying philosophy or even sciences or whatever. Maybe he's a C student in high school, but he can just, maybe he gets a job, mowing lawns, even just menial job working for, but if he does that and he might end up eventually owning his own landscaping business and employing all sorts of people to work for him, because he gets in early, he gets an understanding for the business, he gets to see how it works. Maybe he comes up with a better way, he goes out on his own, but these are skills that are not going to come from education. They're going to come from actually being out there. And I think a lot of young people are just buy the propaganda that they have to go to college no matter what, and they end up wasting their time, wasting their money, squandering opportunities, and then they get out and they think they've got to get a job that they can't mow lawns now because, well, I got a college degree, I can't go out and mow lawns, and so they really have no opportunity to advance.
And we certainly agree with that, which is exactly why we're all about allowing successful people to really showcase the lives they live and also explain how they got there, to kind of show people that mentorship is much more important than just formal education in the sense of school, but rather having someone who's been there, has done it, can share some good insight and perhaps help, point you in the right directions to also see and be exposed to the right things on your journey to success, regardless of what it is you're trying to do. That's what we believe in. We believe that those people hold a lot more weight than teachers who are in school, who've never done it in most cases, and who themselves don't live the lives that they're telling people they're going to get once they get out of college.
Yeah, I mentioned before, I think that, a lot of the people who are teachers are pretty incompetent. Not to say there aren't any good teachers, but there are a lot of teachers who are teaching because that's all they can do. They can't actually do what they're teaching. They have to teach it. And I know that one of the easiest majors you can have is education. It's a very Mickey Mouse type of major. And so people who graduate with degrees in education and become teachers, they're not the best and the brightest that are out there. I think that people can learn more from people on the job that were able to do something other than teach. And I think a lot of people can educate themselves a lot better. You don't have to get the information funneled to you through some teacher. You can get it directly on your own and become self-educated and take advantage of all the information that is out there now via the internet, that you can get information that at one point was only available to people who were on a college campus. Now you have the equivalent of all the best university libraries on the internet. But let me ask you more about your organization. So how do you go about doing this? I mean, how are you trying to reach out to young people to get them to break out of the mold and get off of that treadmill and help them to understand their options and help them to actually pursue a different course?
So we have two different elements to our organization. The first one is people who are mentors, people who are our success stories. So I go out and travel or get on the phones with some of today's top millionaires and people who have done really well as CEOs or founders of their organizations, and then I persuade them to do stories and teach people how they've done it and how they've gone off the ropes. But I get them to describe in detail, step by step, how they've done it, what their story looked like. And so we feature these stories, and these stories have been very inspirational, and I've gotten a lot of people interested because we try to get a variety and a scope of different people on there so people can see different fields and not just tech stuff, but also real life lifestyle things. And the way we grasp these younger people and get them to kind of get in tune with what it is that we're trying to show them is through lifestyle. I think a lot of business websites, if you look at the Forbes, the Incs, and all those websites or magazines, they're all very dry. It's very dry content about entrepreneurship or business. If someone has no interest, they usually don't want to go read it because it's boring. But every guy out there picks up a car magazine. Every so often someone picks up a house magazine looking at those unique homes and wondering what it takes to own a $40 million house. And so we have a section dedicated to our organization that's all about the lifestyle of these people. And so we attract people through lifestyle, but instead of just showing them what a Lamborghini is, we show them who owns that car and what they've done to get there, and kind of inspire them to think out of the box. And we're hoping the more they're exposed to these different types of individuals, all living similar lifestyles, the lifestyle that they want, then they're more likely to go ahead and be open-minded.
But wouldn't the conventional wisdom is if you want to have that kind of a lifestyle, you need to get your college degree. You need to stay in school. You need, you need a diploma, right, in order to do that.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that because, I myself have that lifestyle and never have graduated with an actual college degree. I've gotten a high school diploma, but that was about it. I dropped out of college right before I got my associate's degree. I never saw any even value in having it, even though I was probably like $300 from getting it. And so for me, I'm the perfect example of someone who's come to this country with nothing, with just a single mom, and then as a result of just hard work and understanding the systems and concepts of society, been able to put myself forward until I was at a place strong enough to create kind of my own business ventures and go on my own.
But, and it's not just too about, having the $40 million house because, not many of us are going to have $40 million houses. So that is a goal that is like maybe this is the epitome. I mean, this is shooting for the stars, but you don't necessarily have to have a target that high. I think if you can show that, look, you can have a better life, you can have, you can be wealthier without a college degree than with one, because just because you have a college degree and it helps you get a better job, you still only have a job. And you're only going to earn so much in the average job. I mean, because you're when you're an employee, you're just a cost, right? Somebody is going to try to pay you as little as they possibly can to minimize their costs. And if you really want to earn, you want to be in the 1%. You don't have to be in the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. But if you want to make it to the 1%, that just going and getting a college degree and getting a job is not going to do it. You probably have a much better chance of being outside the box and not going to college and going into the labor force and doing something that you like to do, figuring out what you like to do, and getting good at it. And then maybe you'll be able to go out on your own and launch a business. And even if you don't, you can probably still have a leg up against people that have less work experience and just have more years, sitting in a classroom or, being at a university, not necessarily even studying, but just being there long enough to get their grade. And even if you don't go straight to college, if you go into the workforce and 4 years later you discover what you really want to do does require a college degree, and you really know you want to do it, and you're very focused, then go back to college. There's nothing that says you can't go to college at 22 or 23. I'd rather see somebody go to college later who's focused and knows exactly what they want to do. And study something that's worthwhile, then kids going to college have no idea what they want to do. They change majors 2 or 3 times, and by the time they graduate 6 years later, they've majored in something that's completely worthless.
We want people to be exposed to individuals who are already doing it. And so as a result, instead of just jumping into a degree right out of high school, not understanding the why, they're exposed to individuals who have succeeded in the field they might believe they want to get into and kind of see the ropes and then decide, hey, you know what, this probably isn't for me because this isn't how I want to live or what I want to do. But to go back for 1 second to talk about what you just said about the $40 million house, I don't think that's the goal.
Well, let's talk about that. Hey, we got a quick little commercial break, so I want to talk about that when we get back. But also want to find out, is it more than just examples, or do you have more of a mentor protege? Are you putting people together, younger people with older, more successful people? Or is there anything that you're doing more proactive other than just showing examples of successful people? Are you actually doing anything to help people on their journey? So we'll talk about that after this quick break. We'll be right back.
You're now enrolling in the Peter Schiff School of Advanced Economics. Twice the education of a Harvard MBA. For 168,000th the cost.
We're talking with Pejman Ghadimi. He is author of The Cycle Theory. He also is the founder of Secret Entourage, a unique organization which focuses on helping, motivating, and improving the lives of young, aspiring entrepreneurs worldwide. So just before the break, we started talking about, where you wanted to say something again about the showcasing the guys with the $40 million homes. And, I'm a pretty successful guy, but I don't live in a $40 million home, not even close. So, you could be successful and not live in a, mega mansion.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I was trying to say earlier is that that's only a symbol that those people wanted to live the way they wanted to, and that's their way to live. That's their freedom. Not everyone's freedom has to be a mansion or even a Ferrari. People's freedom could simply be having more time or spending time with their family or just traveling. What I'm saying is that we like to show people different types of freedom that they can achieve through working for themselves rather than just working a job, which eventually leads either into retirement at 60 or pretty much getting fired at some point in between. So we don't like the idea of people just being stuck in that one-sided mentality or to think that school is the only way to be successful.
And
so
I started to ask...
You asked me earlier, what do we do to be proactive about helping people rather than just showcasing these types of stories? Well, we showcase these types of stories to get people to kind of see one element that they perhaps didn't know how to get to. Once they understand that, they can join our community for free. They can gain access to a lot of our free lessons that we have on there as well. And on top of that, they can meet up and meet each other and help each other succeed, both online and through offline groups we have throughout the U.S.
And how do they do that?
Well, they just come on the site, and on the site itself, we have two ways to sign up. They can go in our forum site and sign up on the actual forum where they'll gain access for free to our community. And then from there, they'll also gain access to understanding where and when there's scheduled meets and other events of the sort where they can interact with each other and help one another. We have plenty of community events online that showcase people like looking for a partner for a project or perhaps someone that doesn't know how to code something but has a great idea and someone else who, on the other hand, is a coder but, doesn't have a lot of leadership traits. So those people coming together can truly create something versus that one person by themselves may not know where to go for that resource.
Yeah, where does the funding come for the service or the organization, however you want to call it?
Well, it comes from me and a few others who have done well in their lives who now want something different for others. So we've all done well based on the mentorship and the guidance of some great individuals that came into our lives, and we now believe that our way to give back and create a legacy for ourselves is not to create another business that's just there to fund or make it to become another buyout, but rather create an organization that's all about helping people and getting them to kind of have that solution if it's not present in their life. Not everyone.
Are there specific...
The reason we built this is because leadership isn't present in every organization. You and I both know you can work for people that are so bad and so retarded that they ultimately break a career that you believed in previously just because of their poor leadership skills.
Yeah, are there specific, I have a lot of young people that listen to my program. Are there specific, mentor, protege type opportunities, available? If somebody is looking to be mentored by somebody, are they going to be able to find that individual through your organization?
Yes. So they're going to be able to sign up and see other people either like themselves or above themselves who have done well in similar fields. But on top of that, we actually offer right now a special coaching session for free. So what we're starting to beta test right now is having live Skype sessions for coaching and directly connecting people for half hour a week or as much as we can actually allow that to happen so that, without taking too much of everybody's time. But we're trying to find more mentors that want to join and give out those sessions for free, just 30 minutes a week. Or even if they want 30 minutes a month, it can go really far if you're talking to the right person.
Yeah. Are you getting any kind of backlash, just among maybe the educational establishment or anybody that says, hey, this is not good, you're encouraging people not to go to college and that's a bad thing?
No, because we're not encouraging people not to go to college. We're simply telling them to make an educated decision. And I think that's the key is when you tell someone to make an educated decision is where's that education coming from, right? Where's that influence coming from? And
right, although maybe I rephrase that. You're not saying don't go to college, but you're simply saying that hey, don't just assume that going to college is the best thing to do, that there are alternatives. But that still does, the dogma, the conventional wisdom is no matter what you want to do, go to college first. because you need that degree to fall back on, and that whatever you want to do in life, delay it until you've got your degree. That is the conventional wisdom. That almost like if you're just going to be a dog walker, make sure you have a college degree before you do it. That's the mentality.
I don't think it does, and I don't think it'll continue to work. I mean, it's just we're Generation Y slowly overcompensating every other generation, and as a result of that, we're becoming the dominant workforce. And that generation doesn't necessarily believe that college is the only way in or out of success. And I don't either. Yeah. And I think that as this is becoming more dominant, that old dogma is going to start going away. And
hopefully, and especially with the high cost of the college degree now and the dubious value that it has. But hey, Pejman, thanks for coming on the show. You sound like you got a good organization. You're doing a good job. Good luck to you. Everybody else, hour 2 of the Peter Schiff Show coming up after this. We'll be right back.